Hey friends, Mike Mooney here. Hope you're doing well and welcome back. If you don't think that you can help shift someone's life in just 20 minutes, I want to tell you right now, with every bit of my fiber and being, that you're absolutely wrong. You're absolutely wrong. You have the opportunity, you have the power, you have the wherewithal to shift someone's life today or tomorrow in just 20 minutes. You see, what it takes is being present. And what it takes, besides being present, is being open to giving, having a heart to give. When somebody approaches you, when somebody asks you, when somebody looks to be in need, or somebody just stirs something in your heart. I want to tell you the story that brings this to life, okay? In the beginning of my career in professional motorsports, some 25 years ago, I happened to go to my first race at Rockingham Raceway in Rockingham, North Carolina. I was doing public relations for a driver named Mike McLaughlin at the time, and what was called the Busch Series in NASCAR. And I hardly knew anyone in the media, or really anybody in the landscape around broadcast media, or people that I had to be working with to pitch the stories to and things like that. I happened to see this person named Benny Parsons, who at the time was, if you don't know of Benny Parsons, he was a NASCAR champion, Hall of Famer, broadcaster, and he was working for TNN at the time. And I happen to remember that I went to college with his son Keith. And Keith and I were suite mates at Elon, but I had no idea who Benny Parsons was, what the Parsons name, any of that, nor did Keith, to his credit, quite honestly. He never really talked about it. He was just Keith. So when I saw BP standing there against some tires that were stacked up, I went over and said, Mr. Parsons. And he stopped me right there. He said, "It's BP." I said, "Okay, BP." I said, "My name is Mike Mooney. I went to college with Keith. Just thought I would come over and introduce myself to you. I'm kind of new here in the garage. And if there's anyone that you think I should connect with or get to know, I would appreciate any help you might be able to give me." Well, BP, if you did know him or know of him, you knew he has a heart, a big heart. And he looked at his producer, because they were in between shoots, and said, "How much time do we have?" Producer looks at the watch. "Got about 20 minutes." He said, "Okay, great." He undoes his belt that had his microphone and batteries and everything on him, hands it to the crew. He says, "Come with me." And he took me into the media center, which is like the hub of where all the media sit. I mean, these are the writers and the reporters that are pretty intimidating when you're, 24, 25 years old coming into this new world. And BP went up and down the row. There must have been 40 people in there, and each one next to the other. And he said, "Hey, I want you to meet my new friend, Mike Mooney. He's here doing PR for Mike McLaughlin. He's a good guy. You need to get to know him." And he went down the line with every person. And what that did for me and my career in just those 20 minutes absolutely shifted the trajectory of relationships and the way I was seen. Because look, we all know that, like, if somebody vouches for you and somebody of stature and has a great reputation, if you're good with them, you're good with me. And that's what BP did for me on that day in Rockingham as a young kid just trying to figure out how to do their job. And that started the beginning of a beautiful friendship, and one that I've treasured for so many years, leading to when I was actually proposed to my wife, Krista, and he was with ESPN. And I reached out and said, "I'd like to propose to her during a race." And he helped me set it up with the producers of ESPN to where I actually proposed to her. And she said yes, thankfully. It would have been really awkward had she not. But proposed to her on ESPN, and he was a big part of that. So fast forward several years, and BP's health was in decline. And I have been keeping up with his son Keith on how he was doing, and I got a call from Keith saying, "Hey man, he's here in Charlotte in the hospital, and it's probably not going to be much longer." And I said, Keith, is there any way that I could come down and see him one last time? And he said, man, it's family right now. That's only allowing family right now. I said, Keith, you know what your dad did for me and what he means to me. Is there any way that I could come in just for a minute? And he said, yeah, man, yeah, because he would have wanted that too. So I went down, was able to be in the room with BP as he was resting, and had the opportunity. Now, listen, I thanked him many times over the years, for what he had done for me. But in that moment, to be able to thank him again, many years later, and thank the man who helped me as a young man figure some things out and meet some people, get introduced and start on the right foot and shift where I was starting my career meant the world to me. And I think we need to always think and keep in mind that we all have that opportunity. We have the ability, the capability, the resources, the time, folks, the time just to help somebody out, because you never know how your 20 minutes could shift the trajectory of their life, their career, or relationship. And that's a story that I will always treasure and carry, and something that I reflect on when I hear somebody ask a question of me or look for guidance or need some help. We always have that little bit of time because the impact can be immeasurable. So, friends, I want you to take a moment, reflect on that, think of how you can put that into play. Can you do something for someone else? Can you power shift somebody's life by being present and then having the courage to take the moment to unstrap your belt pack, ask your producer to hold on your gear, and you'll be back in 20 minutes. I know you can. We all have the opportunity. We all can ignite more light in this world. I ask you to please do that. Think of that. Be intentional with it. We need it. We all need it, and we need you. So until we talk again, friends, cheers and keep digging.